brought you something cool, ready?
What do we got?
Something you've never seen before.
Can I buy you a little gift?
Oh, thank you so much. You got me a Hublot. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Some goodies.
Sean, tell my nephew how much money you said.
$9 million?
$8 million.
TimePieceTrading, bro.
You already know with TPT.
Shout out TimePieceTrading.
TimePieceTrading.
Yes, sir.
Alright guys, welcome back to this week's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. Just want to say happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys out there and your families. I hope that you have an amazing holiday. Eat lots of good food. Maybe get a nice new watch for the holidays. Hope that you guys get to spend a lot of quality time with the fam. Besides that, in this week's episode, jumping right in, you're going to be seeing some familiar faces, a big $1 million trade deal. Let's get right into it, starting now.
You cleaned up the office a little bit. I feel like it's
How's it going, man? I'm Sean.
This is my nephew, Muller.
Very nice to meet you. I'm redoing everything.
I like it.
One safe out, we're building the showroom. It's
like
like 90% done. And then I'm painting everything, I'm knocking this down, I'm doing like, actually gonna have it as an office.
Yeah, this is a little cheap.
So this is my idea. I know it sounds weird because everyone wants windows in their office with a view. I've never opened the window, I've never even opened the blind. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knock this down, I'm gonna put a mirror here. And then I'm gonna cover the windows with a bookshelf because I don't use it anyway. I'm gonna cover that window. And then I'm gonna build a bar back there, and I'm gonna build a wardrobe, so when people are like, hey, let's go to dinner, and I'm not wearing like clothes to go to dinner, I change and go to dinner.
Bro, I have never seen you dressed other than like this.
Well,
I don't know what the fuck other clothes you're talking about.
I wear different clothes sometimes.
I don't know what other clothes
I'm changing
you're talking
everything
about.
around and painting and doing the whole thing, so.
I brought you something cool, ready?
What do we got?
Something you've never seen before. I know it's hard to stump.
scared.
The big Sean McLaren.
I have been stumped by you before though. Holy shit. How the hell did they set baguettes onto a sapphire wheel?
So, the thing about this watch is, you know who Eric Pedre is, the guy that did the gyro tourbillon for Jaeger, called the 3D tourbillon.
Yes,
It
yes,
was the best 3D tourbillon that was out on the market. It started back in the day when you were still a kid with Thomas Prescher, Frank Muller, but then they kept on improving the 3D tourbillon to ensure that it works in every position. So Eric Pedre arguably probably made the best 3D tourbillon for Jaeger Ultra, JLC. For JLC when he made the 3D tourbillon. Well, then when he joined these guys, he said, how can I beat that? So he made the fastest 3D tourbillon. So you have 3 cages, right? The inner cage will spin every 8 seconds. The second cage will spin every 16 seconds, and the third cage spins every 30 seconds. And then there's 2 of them. There's 8 barrels to make this work. Unwrap this damn thing.
I've never seen, first off, to see a full sapphire case that clean, where you're not seeing anything like impeding the view through.
Wait till
and the color is even crazier.
And then what you mentioned, them setting sapphires onto the cages, you understand how that affects balance and everything else. Like it has to be set completely perfect. And this thing, considering the amount of torque that this thing takes.
You want me to help you? I have nails.
Please, thank you. So I hate doing this.
Barely, but I have them. It's so hard to get the tape on to begin with, and then taking it off.
But my girls in logistics, they tape it to where you can't even tell it's taped.
Well, that's the trick.
Yeah.
I remember Neil used to like tape all the watches like this, and his fingers would be like, his hand would be like stuck in like the position holding it. I'm like, dude, are you okay?
It actually comes with a tool to wind it, because by hand you're gonna wind it forever. I'm gonna try to wind it just a little bit by hand.
I noticed the crown is a different color in the actual case itself, which is
it's rubber.
A lot of people will see that and they'll think that maybe something's wrong, but it's actually a nice touch because it shows a little bit of difference in color between the case and the crown.
For one, you can see the damn thing.
It's pronounced.
So now that I got them going.
That was the smoothest glasses put on I've ever seen in my life. That should be like a TikTok in its own.
Now they're going. And look how fast the inner cage goes, if you can see it. So you have 3 cages. Now mind you, these work in unison. Once the power reserve goes down, one will stop, the other one will keep going, and it will keep the watch powered. And this thing is powered for 36 hours. The amount of torque.
36 hours.
Yeah, the amount of torque that the amount of just power, sheer power this thing takes. So basically Eric Pedre said, how can I outdo myself? He doesn't even call them tourbillons, he calls them spherions. Like, if you call it a tourbillon, he'll get upset.
Well, it's something that no one's ever even seen before. It's essentially a whole new style of movement.
I mean, Concepto does something similar for Jacob. Actually, believe it or not, the fastest 3D tourbillon on the market today would be Frank Muller. They made one where the inner cage spins every 5 seconds instead of 8, but that's just like...
In the market or on the market?
But on the market. But with that said, you're talking about something that this will sell. You know, Frank Muller, they're not in the best spot yet, although they are the master of all complications. I went to visit their factory. Did you know they produce 60,000 watches a year?
60,000?
And he doesn't owe anybody a penny. He still has a distribution model. So all the watches that are made, first of all, everything is made in-house. They have Frank Muller land consists of 6 buildings on Lake Geneva. And talk about a flex during COVID, he bought another like 10 acres next door, just so he can put a Frank Muller sign in the field that can be seen from airplanes landing.
That's brilliant.
Everything is paid for. He's got millions upon. I went there with a client of mine who is in the aerospace business, so he understands how much these machines cost, all these CNC machines. He's like, Roman, there's like millions in here. Machines all paid for cash. Old school Armenian guy that owns the company. So ever since he bought it, he never looked back. I mean, it got to a point where they had extra space. They put a chocolate factory in one of the buildings. Just
okay, that's hilarious.
fuck it. I'm just gonna make my own chocolate. Like,
if I was him, I'd walk around like Willy Wonka.
People don't understand how well off Frank Muller actually is as a company. I mean, Frank Muller himself is in.
To not have debt and to be able to keep producing so many watches and funding.
But when you have a
everything
distribution model, the downside is that you're dependent on your distributors, which then tend to discount watches more than you want them to. You see closeouts, you see things like that. But at the end of the day, he makes his watches and they're already pre-sold. So.
What's interesting about that brand though, and I've said this about so many brands, and you know, not so long, but in 7-8 years, is all it takes for brands that have made it, right? So like, let's use Jacob as an example, which recently, I don't know if you guys are having inquiries or have seen what's happening, but it's done like a 180.
I know exactly what's happening.
It's crazy.
I've met with Benjamin. I think ever since he took over, he did an amazing job.
Brilliant.
And the funny thing is people always talk shit about Jacob, and you know what I tell them? Like they'll say, oh, this is this. First of all, they use Concepto. Concepto makes some of the most ridiculous horology out there. Second of all, I mean, the Bugatti watch. It's insane.
It's insane.
You know, I was the second person to get the new one.
No way.
After Jay-Z. Yeah, I was walking around with it in Geneva during Geneva Watch Days. That watch is insane. It's smaller.
We had
it fits better.
The DLC.
Well, you have the bigger one. I had the new one, the one that Jay-Z put on.
Yeah, that broke the internet.
And I'm walking around Geneva like, you know, I'm the second person to have this after Jay-Z, right?
Which doesn't even count. I mean, you're pretty much were the first person because he's already like.
So that watch is absolutely bonkers. I talked to Benjamin about it and he told me, he's like, listen, you know how long it took me my dad to, because when I designed, because that was his baby. Like when I designed it, first of all, I made it smaller. So like for my wrist, it fits really well. He's like, second of all, he goes, you know how long it took me to convince Dad? Because the first thing that Dad asked, well, where are the diamonds going? And Ben's like, no, we're not putting diamonds on this. He's like, what do you mean? I said, we're not, right? And, you know, father-son vibe is difficult.
It's good to have diversity in the style.
People talk shit about Jacob, you know, the watch I bring up, the 5 time zone.
That's what I was gonna say.
With the cheap Chinese movement and stainless steel case and the shitty little bezel that they first came out with.
Hottest thing ever back in the day.
To me,
coming back now.
I actually put that watch in a list of iconic timepieces. People are like, how can you do that?
It's in my top like 25.
It's not just about horology. It's about what that did to the market. It literally single-handedly merged the world of hip hop into the world of horology. Prior to that, companies like Audemars Piguet would never think about bringing on a Jay-Z as an ambassador.
Oh,
you
never.
know what I mean? But yet they did. Which, by the way, I don't know if you know how that happened. That was Francois. The people in Switzerland are like, Jay-Z, there's no way we're bringing him on as ambassador. He talked them into it. They allowed him to create, they made 10 in platinum, 50 in rose, and 90 in steel.
The offshores.
And they only allowed him to do it in the United States market. And when that shit sold out instantly, that's when they're like, oh.
Jay-Z, not so bad.
Not so bad, right? So.
But that's what it takes, and that's like, you know, we saw this happen with Jacob recently where they just did this complete 180. Now they're incredibly hot, everyone wants it. But another thing that happened like 2 weeks ago, you probably saw like Drake wearing both 5 time zones. So my point to Frank Muller is that sometimes that's all that it takes. All it's gonna take is a guy like very polarizing, like a Kevin Hart or Ed Sheeran or something, or even, you know, whoever, maybe Wahlberg, to wear a Frank Muller Long Island or a Crazy Hours or something, or a crazy.
There's a little bit more to that. One of the things that since Benjamin took over as CEO, he put a lot of control in distribution. he cut out a lot of unnecessary doors where you would walk in and they would just discount the stuff off the gate.
They don't discount at all.
He cut down production tremendously to meet the demand. If you're able to keep production just slightly under your demand, which is very difficult because you have to know your demand, right? Think about how many points of sales they've opened up on their own, right? It all comes into the mix. It was all part of a long-term plan since he came back. And I think he did a tremendous job, which is why when I went to Jacob, I wanted to do the video with Benjamin, not Jacob, because Benjamin is on the forefront, you know what I mean? Young minds. And mind you, this isn't a kid that, oh, he's gonna go work for daddy. He was on his own for 10 years, he left. He was a coffee boy at Jacob, then he left, went to school, opened up his marketing company, made it successful, sold it, and then came back to be as the CEO.
Which is sometimes the best thing to happen. You know, he's bringing new ideas, he's bringing a fresh mindset, he understands the younger generation. That's what it takes sometimes. And it's funny because you see things happen, and you know, AP is one of my favorite brands, but I think AP is the perfect example of trying to introduce into, like, trying to hyper focus on a younger generation. And I think that currently they're not doing it to the best of their ability. I think they can definitely do better with it, but it's all about just doing it right and having that idea and trying it, and that brand is killing it.
What's up, Mr. Roman? How you doing? Congrats on Marcus's new shop. What's up, Marat? How are you? Neil, nice to meet you. I feel like I've met you before.
He moved down there like a year and a half.
Maybe I've seen you at the shop or something.
He couldn't, maybe at Marcus shop. He couldn't stand the Philly suburbs.
Yeah,
he was not out.
Feel him, bro.
Miami's a whole other story. What's up?
This is a crazy watch. It's gotta be a Roman watch. It's important.
So you know how I call this a next Richard Mille? I'm not saying replacement. I'm saying something fresh to the market that has the potential.
How much is this watch?
Retail 1.6.
Wow. You have all these crazy stuff always for us.
Well,
You bring us these.
You know what I mean? I have to bring something.
Missions, bro.
I have to bring something. I mean, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. Grubel, right?
Yeah.
My only complaint is honestly gonna be the sizing.
Put it on. You'd be shocked how.
Well, I have a 7-inch wrist.
Wait, here, let me put it on my wrist, just so you get. Watch this.
That's a good.
I have a tiny wrist. It's the same as Richard
doesn't
Mille.
look too-
I can put on an RM28 and it looks fine to me. Why? Because it's so ergonomic. This is the same thing. The people that made it, they thought of that.
They should, in my opinion though, try a smaller size for the guys who like small watches. I think that's what helps the
Where do
most.
you fit all that?
You can't, that's the problem. That's the trickiest part. When you want, it's the same thing with Jacob. When you want to put so much inside a watch and it'd be so complicated, so much going on, it has to be big.
But again, Jacob is also not for everyone,
It isn't.
right?
So which also in a way, it makes sense. But like, I'll give you an example, right? So RM's answer to, oh, it doesn't fit everyone, which, by the way, weirdest thing, they started with such small watches, then they went huge.
Well,
This was
you
the
have
answer.
You have to remember that the time they went huge was when bigger was better, right? So
Which now
the
changed.
timing for them was better.
67 is definitely the most popular right now, right?
I'm still being asked for the big to know case, but oddly enough, 6701.
Yeah, the 01, 02, both
Titanium,
on fire.
white gold, titanium, white
Yeah.
gold. People
But
want
that's a perfect example that I've learned the hard way so many times, is that when people transition from other brands into RM, they don't understand this. They're like, what's going on here? You explain to them like, I want something titanium, and then you're like, oh well, titanium's still $250. And then they're like, wait, what's less? And then they end up seeing this and they're like, oh, size is good, closer to my other brands, makes sense, price point's good. So that's a tricky part. I think
my
brands have to
scare with
focus
those
on that.
watches is that I'm afraid I'm gonna lose.
Let's go. Good to see you, bro. I saw you on the camera and I bought you a little gift.
Oh, thank you so much. You got me a Hugo. Look at that. That's beautiful. Did we buy this from you?
Huh?
Did we buy this from
No,
you?
no, I'm asking if you want to buy it.
Does it have box and paper?
No, it's naked.
How much?
You just want to offer, bro, honestly. It's not really our thing. I don't know if you want to.
I know. It's nice to have Luxury Bazaar to take your trades, isn't it? But bro, for our internet, all the little stuff that you guys don't want, I can't get enough of that.
It's very butter.
I buy that shit by the hundreds. Like I'm about to go to Japan, I'm about to go, like I need that because of the traffic.
Well, the holidays are coming
Yeah,
too.
so we try to help you, bro. Honestly, like, you know, sometimes we're like, okay, we'll buy it, but like, you know, we know you like it, bro, so.
I had to remember what the retail on it is. Hold on.
Okay, let me go get the good stuff.
How are you, bro? You good?
Can't complain.
Bro,
This is my
Marcus
nephew,
is
Marat.
killing it. How are you, bro?
Dude,
Nice to meet you.
the new store is fire. They
Yeah.
didn't get to finish everything. They didn't get to finish everything yet. So they made a throne out of basketballs that
That's
goes in
cool.
one corner where the basketball thing is gonna be. So you can literally sit on the throne and throw basketballs. The spinning shoes are coming in, but dude, I was there Friday with friends and family. I was there Friday at 12 o'clock helping them out, like putting stickers on shoes and just like helping them out.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were gonna make it. 5 o'clock came, everything came together.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy, bro? Like seeing that, like from the Gable store to Brickell to now a second store.
I love it because, you know, he started on his own at 14 and a half.
Yeah.
And never looked back, you know? So like, when the kid was applying to colleges, he submitted his tax returns, you know, instead of essays.
Yeah, that's insane.
So for me, like, I couldn't be more proud, and the fact that he's able to do it on his own. What I also love the most is that he'll be the first one to call, ask for advice, right? And what the kid doesn't realize, a lot of times he'll call me and ask me for advice. That's operational marketing. Doesn't matter what it is. What he doesn't know is that as he's asking me for advice, I'm getting valuable information as well, because he's younger, different generations, they think differently. So it's a good two-way street. You know, we're raising well to know that, hey, you need to ask and communicate.
Yeah, even us, you know, if we have problems, we always ask our dad the same way.
That's what I'm saying, and that's the type of relationship you're supposed to have. Listen, Indian and Russian families were raised very similar. It's all for the kids. It's all about raising the kids right. It's all about, you know, so we managed to do a good job.
And I feel like even the success he's had is because of your entrepreneurial spirit. You know, like he got it.
It's good to have somebody.
It's for sure that he got it from like his upbringing. You know.
I think the number one thing that did it for him and is doing it for my other two girls is the fact that I make him get a job at the age of 15. So
bro, the same thing, and I told this to someone the other day. It's like I told my dad, like, I want a PS5. He'd be like, okay, so go buy one.
Go get a job. Exactly.
Like I worked at an electronics store every single summer from the age of 14 to 17, and then I started working in the store with him. But yeah,
bro, no box, no papers. It's gonna have to be like $4 grand.
Okay, I'll try.
They're the full sets new. They're selling for around 7. So. And I still have to fix the buckle.
No, I see this.
I mean, like I have to change that. Sometimes it's easier to get a new buckle.
Okay. So let me see. Let me see what I can make happen.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Something late. That's my son. Hold on. Hey, Marcus.
What happened?
I'm over at TPT. I'm gonna call you back in a little bit. All right.
Some goodies.
Sean, tell my nephew how much money is here. Quick. How much is here?
Like $9 million?
You know,
Maybe a little bit more.
what do you need help with? Because do you need help with this, moving this?
So to be honest with you, like we have cleared,
That's it.
we have cleared everything.
So
like,
you're good on.
We
Okay.
don't own anything that's incorrect. We have everything that's super like on
good.
point.
I'm happy to hear it.
So it's going to be whatever is going to
I
be
got you.
best for you and beneficial, because everything is good price, good cost, everything proper, everything's
I'm
on
happy
point.
to hear it. I still have.
Took our last biggest hit.
I still have a few stragglers.
Bro, the second we had the chance to rip off that last Band-Aid, I ripped it off so fast that my skin came with the hair.
You know, my last Band-Aid was nothing that big a deal. It was a stainless steel perpetual white dial, like one of those old 39 millimeters that I was into for like 140, and I sold I think for 70 or something like that.
I'll beat you on that one. I'll make you feel better. We had a titanium perpetual that was going for $330. I got it. We paid $270 for it, the titanium perpetual. Someone offered us $330 the day we got it, and we were like, nah, let's go for $350. Like idiots.
Well, no, I'll give you the biggest story. My fucking Esmeralda. I told you about this. He had an offer of $1 million on that watch, and it's no bullshit.
That's bad.
And he wanted $1 million too.
That's bad. That's really
Well,
bad.
we sold it. We actually made money on it, so I'm happy.
But at the time, AP was amazing. I couldn't buy the watch under $320,000. We got lucky buying it. So.
I'll say this,
Okay.
and probably one of these.
That works good. That's honestly the only double that we have, so that'd be great.
Yeah, perfect.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this week's video. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and have such a great Thanksgiving. See you guys next week.